Okay. Basically, hopefully this works.
Yeah,
it does work. If you haven't met us before, I'm Stephen. This is Ian. We own and run To Be Fit, this gym. We've been here for nearly 2 years now. And this is our first seminar, anything like this we've done. Just kind of a little bit of time to get everyone sat down, talk to you about diet, nutrition and training, give you some ideas, and from there we're going to run a challenge on the back of that.
You're not even in the video?
Am I not?
Yeah.
Right, what is the challenge? It's a transformation challenge, so it's going to be over 6 weeks. It's going to be using a diet approach called If It Fits Your Macros, also known as flexible dieting. Okay, Ian's going to talk a lot about that over the next few slides. I'm putting the wrong thing again. Rules, the competition is going to start today. You're going to send us some photos if you want to take part in the challenge. You don't have to, but we're going to talk about prizes and stuff at the end, what you can win. Like I said, it's a 6-week challenge and it's running right through until Tuesday the 2nd of June. We've called it Spring into Summer because it leads obviously nicely into summer.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
I thought of it. Winners, guys, aren't necessarily just judged on weight loss and the transformation photos. Again, we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end when we're actually talking about the challenge, okay? It's not purely a weight loss challenge, okay? I know a lot of gyms do stuff like that, okay? Quick weight loss challenges. Ian's going to talk about, why they're not necessarily healthy and why long-term they don't lead to success, okay?
Thank you, Stephen. Marvellous. Cheers. Right, guys, my name's Ian Bickle, okay? I'm one half of To Be Fit, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about flexible dieting, okay? A little bit about myself. I'm a natural bodybuilder, okay? So nutrition is a huge part of my life, all right? So hopefully I'm going to help you out with a little bit of information in terms of that, okay? At the end of the day, fat loss, some people go, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. Our aims are the same, okay? We need to burn fat. Maybe I just go that little bit extra, okay? And I don't expect anybody to want to do that either, all right? So we'll get started, okay? So first and foremost, the problem with diets, okay? I don't know if you can even see that, but it does say restriction, all right? That's probably what everybody kind of conjures up in the head when they think about the word diet, okay? Restriction. Not only foods, cut out food groups, but also socially, okay? So when people do go out on a social level, they don't know how to handle it, all right? So they're off diet and then they'll start on Monday, okay? All right? Confusion and conflicting information. This is Jackie Chan. He doesn't know. Okay, there's a lot of information out there, guys. High carbs, low carbs, high fat, low fat, intermittent fasting, paleo, so on and so forth. There's so much out there, guys, that nobody knows what to do. Okay? Sandra might be following one thing, getting great results, but Joe isn't. All right, they're just random names. Oh, okay, stressful. Okay, this is a big one. And the emotional and psychological stress that's associated with dieting, okay? I've been through it myself, so you can understand that people do break down, and food is our fuel at the end of the day, okay? And if that's not right, it is going to have a massive impact. Also hormonally, guys, we get a lot of down-regulation of certain things, okay? Like your thyroid hormone, testosterone, leptin, okay, which helps regulate fat loss. So we're already, if we're on a very restrictive diet, okay, fighting a losing battle, all right? Physically, okay, so things like your organs, muscle mass, bone density, hair, skin, all these things get affected when you are not nourishing your body, okay? Far too many people, follow the latest fad, and it is very kind of like malnourished. You think of malnourishment, you think of little starving Africans. No. Everybody's kind of malnourished in this world. That's on video as well. We'll edit that. You're going to find this out about me. Sometimes I run. We'll cut that out. All right. Here's a big thing that I think it has a huge lack of personal responsibility and ownership. I've had it a million times. I've had clients ask me, give us the bit of paper. Give us the answer. Okay? And as you're going to find out, there is not one answer. All right, sorry in advance, by the way. Okay, heavily rely on willpower. Willpower is not infinite. Okay, so you will break. Hunger beats willpower. Okay, is there a holy grail to dieting? No. The perfect diet is the one that works for you. All right? Easy. Right, what is healthy eating? Okay, somebody who doesn't work with me, can I have a definition? Just some shout outs. What is healthy eating, guys? Anything? Just shout.
Balanced diet.
Sorry?
Balanced diet.
A balance. Okay, but what is balanced? That's the a variety of food, yeah, good. Okay. Sorry?
Protein.
Protein, yeah, protein in the diet's very important. But again, guys, it's quantifying it. You know, protein. How much protein? Okay, balance. What is a balanced diet? Okay, nobody knows these things, all right? So, healthy eating to me, okay? A healthy diet and good nutrition should do the following, okay? Come in. It should control energy balance, okay? So we shouldn't be getting dips up and down through the day, okay? Generally, energy balance is seen through constant, like, weight, kind of, no weight gain, no weight loss, a nice steady weight, okay? All right? Provide nutrient density, food quality, which Liam's going to go more in depth into later, okay? It should help us achieve health, body composition, and performance goals, okay? Everybody forgets health, all right? So if we look at these three circles, what good nutrition should do is take all of these things and bind them, okay? But what a lot of people do is forget about these two and go straight for the top one. If you chase health, you'll get good composition. But it's through chasing and stress and fat loss is why people struggle. Okay? And it should be sustainable. When you're starting any nutritional plan, you should ask yourself, will I be doing this in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years? If not, generally, you're going to have a little bit of a kind of rebound, okay? Which results in heavy weight loss and depressing nature. I don't know where I'm going with that. Right, what is IIFYM? Okay? Right. It means if it fits your macros, okay? What is a macro? You're gonna love this. Boom. Okay? That is where you get your macros from, so we'll put a big through that. Okay? I knew you'd love that. Made me laugh. Okay, the word macro is short for macronutrient, okay? Macronutrients, there are 3. There's in fact 4, but we'll go on to the 4th later. There's 3 main ones, okay? 1 gram of protein, which is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrates is again 4 calories. And fat, a more dense nutrient, okay, 9 calories. So it's no wonder people are trying to avoid fat because they know there's more calories, okay? But again, Liam's going to go into that a little bit later. All foods contain macros, okay? Everything you eat contains macros, of course, unless it's calorie free, okay? So whether you're eating clean, okay? Someone said to me, I don't do macros, I just eat clean. And it's like, well, you do macros, all right? So just think about that. Why, if it fits your macros, okay? This little smiley face is the reason why, okay? There's no restrictions with it, okay? You can eat what you want. There's no foods put on the shelf, okay? No yo-yo dieting, so no ups and downs, okay? Elimination of cheats or self-justification binges, okay? A lot of fat loss clubs do this, okay? Again, Sandra comes in and she's like, oh, I just binged this weekend, ate all of the cake, okay? And what happens is Joe says, that's okay, Sandra, you've earned it. And it's like, no it isn't, guys, okay? You should never get to the point where you need to eat all of the cake and the rest of it, okay? So you gotta be careful with that, guys. And you know, good nutrition, there is no cheat meals, okay? If it fits your macros, there is no cheats, okay? Let's have a look. The ability to have a social life, all right? So you know when there's something coming up like Sandra's wedding, okay? And it's like, oh no, this is gonna knock my protocol. You get there, you get a couple of drinks in you, a little bit of cake, and then you go wild. You eat all of that cake again, okay? And again, no guilt associated with eating certain food groups, okay? Eliminates confusion, can prevent eating disorders, all right? This whole binge, clean eating cycle, guys, It's a disorder. Just because it's not got real, like a bulimia name attached, or anorexia, this isn't right. You shouldn't have to get to that level. And a lot of people do put up a lot of fences when it comes to food. And it is something that isn't really shared and spoken about. And trust me, from the bodybuilding world, guys, I know a lot of male and female competitors, and even went through it a little bit myself, okay? So my job now is to kind of hopefully help people, push them on to being healthy, as opposed to just being skinny, okay? It's individual and personalized. It is your diet. It isn't the bit of paper, okay, or the latest thing on the internet, the 5-2, the Atkins, so on and so forth. It teaches you about balance, okay? So nutritional balance between proteins, carbohydrates and fat. And eventually it becomes fun, okay? It does, it really does. Every day is a ball. This is one of my favorite slides, okay? Does flexible dieting work? Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is show some before and after pictures, all right? So this was, I don't know if you can see that very well, but this was a previous 5-week If It Fits Your Macros dieter, okay? Now we're not going to be saying you're going to get drastic results like this, okay? This is quite a great result, but this girl here was eating cake, was eating chocolate, did have pizzas, okay, and was very clever with her macronutrients, okay? Other results, okay, just like that, some more fat loss, all right? And then it's not just ladies that works well if it fits your macros. Who's this handsome devil? That's me, okay? So a 12-week progress pic, okay, and me on stage, okay? So I was about 9-10% body fat in the first picture and 5% in the second picture, okay? And that's me actually on stage at the BNBF. Okay, you will get copies of these slides, ladies. Didn't you worry about that. Okay then. Right, next one. Getting sidetracked. Okay guys, this one gets a little bit technical, okay? As I mentioned, the normal diet protocols don't require kind of effort. That's why everybody looks to them. They all want that bit of paper that says meal 1, this, okay? I might as well have wrote a diet on every sheet of paper and given you it, okay? Does that take into account the individual? No, but it's easy, and that's sometimes what everybody wants. It does get quite technical here, so in your handouts, you do actually have, which you will take away with you, the formula. Now, as you can see, it does take into account the individual. Laura's there thinking, oh shit, what's this? Okay, so it is a little bit complicated, but we're not going to work them out now, okay? I'm just going to briefly go through it. So, step 1, okay? You just calculate your energy requirements, all right? So that's generally your weight times by your number of training hours, okay? Really, that's there to kind of calculate your carbohydrate intake. So if you train 1 hour a week, you don't earn them carbohydrates, okay? If you're training 7 hours a week, you get a bit more of a carbohydrate kind of allowance, okay? Because we need to fuel that exercise, which Stephen and Ash are going to talk about later, okay? Just a quick note on this, if you are carrying excess body weight a lot, it's going to possibly overestimate your calories, okay? So what you want to do, guys, is you want to kind of go off your weight target and input that, okay? Now ladies, don't be like all that and go, oh, I'm massively overweight, you know, and put like 3 stone in as your target, okay? Again, don't do that. That's what we're trying to avoid, okay? Step 2, okay, you adjust your calculations according to your goal. So, fat loss, you just take a little bit off, okay, and a little bit. Speaking from experience, guys, you don't want to go too drastic. You want tools in the belt, okay? So if I started dieting on 2,000 calories, some people are thinking that's loads. No, it's not. That's nothing. And start doing 5 hours cardio a week, where else am I going to go when I plateau? All right? I've got to go less or do more. Okay? Basically, make it as stress-free as possible. Do the absolute minimum while making progress. If you're looking to put on some muscle, okay, again, we just tip it the other way and we just try and just a little bit, because we don't want to put on excess fat, okay? A guy, when they want to put weight on, they bulk. Okay, we've all heard it. And it's again a justification just to overeat. Okay, I'm bulking. I've heard it a million times. Okay, and in the middle, guys, to maintain weight. Now, as we mentioned, it's not just about fat loss, okay? You can provide supporting documents just to say how this has helped you, how you've learned, how you feel great, how you no longer worry about food. It's not just about fat loss, because life isn't about fat loss. It's about having fun and experiences. I'm a big foodie. I love food, and I'm not going to go, well, even when I'm dieting for a show, cut it all out, okay? It just doesn't make sense. It's crazy, okay? Protein, guys, so we'll calculate your protein requirements. Okay, generally the heavier an individual is, the more protein they're going to require. Okay. Next, your fat requirements. Okay. Now, there's this whole thing about fat. Again, Liam's going to go on, but fat is your friend. You need fat. Okay. Next, guys, what we've got? Carbohydrates. Okay, so you fill whatever's left with carbohydrates. Okay, and remember, there's 4 calories per gram of that. All right. Fiber, guys, really important. So what a lot of people, again, Liam's going to go through this more, but what a lot of people do is fit their macros with very cheap produce, okay? And basically shit. Again, disclaimer, this is not an excuse to just go out and eat a whole load of rubbish. All right? Eat up. Hit your macros. Even if you think it's too much. All right? It's not too much. You need that. We are used to under-eating. We are used to, like, not eating food. Okay? I've got clients saying, Ian, stop feeding us. Okay? No.
It's another story, that.
You what?
It's another story, that.
Yeah. It's on there. It's picking that mic's sensitive. You can hear everything. But, you know, that's what I want. The female clients stop making us eat. And I'm like, oh, Ian, I'm stuffed. I'm like, have a bit of shit. Get some in. Stop trying to be a clean eater on if it fits your macros, flexible dieting. And some people are nervous dipping the toe in the first time. It's great. You're going to love it. All right, guys. Number 8, assess and adjust, okay? So whether it's using scales, tape measures, photos, we recommend you take an array of measurements, not just the scales, guys, because you're probably going to eat more carbohydrates, therefore you're going to get more glycogen stores, and you're going to put on weight, okay? Weight is not the BN of everything. Don't make changes more frequently than every 2 weeks. This is a big thing for me. After 3 days, it's not working. Forget it. This isn't working. And then they just go back to eating celery and boiled chicken. Because that was working. Okay, guys? It's a leap of faith. You've got to do it. Okay? Do not fear failure. Okay? That's what makes us, alright? So get yourself out there. Get some shit in there. Eat some cake. You're going to love it. I'm doing well for swearing, by the way. Okay? Guys, it does say there. It's in blue. You're not going to see it. Do not use the scales as your only form of measurement. They do not dictate who you are as a person. I've had clients, ahoy the tape measure around them, they've lost inches. Ahoy the calipers on them, you know, and then we take photos and they've made progress. They get on the scales, they put on a pound and they're gutted. They're fitting into smaller clothes, and that is, no offence, mostly women. Okay? There's more women here, so I'll keep that. Okay, guys, how to track your macros, okay? So, what you need to do is download a calorie counting app. If you've got a smartphone, they are free, okay? And I use MyFitnessPal, okay? You can see in this picture, I've got 3 red lines, okay? This is your fat, your carbohydrates, and your protein. The yellow line is dietary fiber. They are the things you concentrate mainly on, okay? The rest will sort itself out because our foundations of a diet is going to be very whole, single ingredient foods, okay? Right, be aware, okay? You're not going to get straight away. This is putting ownership onto you. People don't want to work for something. They want to do the bare minimum and get the and the absolute most, okay? Sorry, you're going to have to put some work in, okay? It's like driving a car. First time you got in a car, guys, you didn't shoot up the A1. You learned the clutch. Now, You don't even think about it. You just get in your car and go, okay? Okay, you don't need to track exercise because it's already factored into your calculation that you've done, okay? Foods rarely contain one macronutrient. Take a slice of bread. You're going to get some fats, carbs, and protein in there. But, for example, sugar, that's just going to contain carbohydrates. So you've got to use your brain a little bit, okay? There's enough on there, I think. Quick example, guys. So, if I was entering 3-egg omelette, I went a bit chefy on this. 3-veg omelette, 3-egg omelette with veg, bacon, ketchup on a bed of spinach. Okay? So that's what that would look like, okay? You got eggs, bacon, and I put it in individually. You can't just put omelette. Okay? That's not enough. You need to feed it information because it's just too general. Okay? I'll put a little circle on there. You press on that, guys. By pressing on that circle area, it's going to show you a pie chart. This is a breakdown of what that meal looks like, okay? Or your day looks like when you add additional meals. So the red is fat, okay? Carbohydrates is blue, protein is green, okay? Little circle. If I press on that circle up there, it's going to give me a macronutrient breakdown. So that chart you've just seen there. It's going to tell us how much fat, how many carbs, how much protein is in that meal and collectively in my day. So if you've got them targets that you've worked out yourself, you're going for X amount of fat, X amount of carbohydrate, X amount of protein, and you fit your macros. That's where the name comes from. You can view the macro breakdown of a singular meal by turning your smartphone or iPad or whatever. I don't know if it'll work on a PC, probably not. But you can see the breakdown of that meal. Okay? How much flexibility? I love this baby. Okay? So, I can eat whatever I want as long as it fits my macros. Okay? No. Okay? Unfortunately, we do recommend at least an 80 to 20% ratio between good and bad food. Okay? So the base of your diet is going to be whole, single ingredient foods. Okay? It's kind of like building a house. The foundations have to be there, guys. You can't just go in and start filling your macros, and it's going to be pretty much impossible to get your allowance on just filling it with rubbish, loads of cheap carbs and things like that. What about alcohol? Somebody was asking before, can I drink? Okay, you can drink, okay. Alcohol is the 4th macronutrient, okay. 1 gram contains 7 calories, so it's in between carbohydrates and fat. All right, alcohol has no nutritional value, not whatsoever, okay? It can very easily lead to weight gain, okay? Not just because it is liquid calories, because you do make silly decisions when you're drunk. You roll into the kebab shop, okay? You get the cake, you know what I'm saying, okay? You can put it in your macros, but I went to put 4 cans in my macros the other week, okay? 900 odd calories, 4 cans, and I was like, nah. I said no, and guys, for me, it's not worth it. 900 odd calories is a beautiful meal, okay? That's gonna nourish us and propel me to perform better and lead me to my goal, okay? So be mindful as well of added sugars to alcoholic drinks, you know, whatever you lasses drink, your cocktails and all that, okay? Okay, no foods are off limits, okay, not one food. So we've got some foods, a little omelette there, some ice cream, some proper man breakfast there, pasta, some thing, amazing, French toast, steak, veg and everything, pancakes, okay. Nothing's off limit, guys. First of all, that for me, when somebody says no to something, I want it. You're like a child. Like, no, it's like, God damn it, I want that thing so much. So it's quite a relief straight away to go, I can eat what I want. And that gives you choice. And I think that's the most important thing, guys, choice. If I choose to go 100% clean on my diet, that is my choice. If I decide to go 100% Monday to Friday and bring that 80-20 on a weekend, that is my choice. If I just want to go 90-10 or whatever, it is my choice and it's your choice. Nobody should question your diet. and it's yours. Accept responsibility and work on it, guys, because honestly, it's just awesome. I'm selling it. Okay, my experience using flexible dieting. Okay, so this first picture is my experience not working as a flexible dieter. So I'm a bit brown, you'll probably not see it. This picture was actually, I was wearing a really dark tan, but it was banned in the next show because it's absolutely awful, gets everywhere kind of dirty and minging. Okay, so my first time competing in 2013 as a clean eater. Okay, it was horrible. Okay, limited food choices. I had a diet sheet, okay, and I ate the same food for 12 weeks every day. Leading up to competition, I adjusted it a little bit because I did count the macros in there. So again, although it was clean, I still was aware that it contained energy, carbohydrates, fats, and protein. Okay, it was very, very unvaried. Okay, so there was literally pretty much typical what you think a bodybuilder does: eats rice, chicken, and broccoli. That was me. I was that poster boy. Okay, all cardio was LISS, which is low intensity, steady state. So it was all jogging. Okay, fasted cardio, I brought that in. So I was getting up really early. If I was at work at 7:30, I was maybe up at 5:30, jogging around the streets. Okay? And I did cardio post-exercise, post-weights training, so an hour a day. Okay? I had no social life, put a hell of a lot of strain on the people around us. Okay, so that wasn't great. I was miserable. As soon as I got off stage, pints were going down. Went to Subway, asked for a sandwich with all of the meat. It cost about 15 quid. I kid you not, and it was psychologically difficult to deal with because you are low percent body fat, you've got veins all over your body. And when you lose that, okay, it kind of does play with your head. And I want to nail this down now. Don't think you're going to walk around like that, guys, because it's horrible. The best thing I'd done was getting off stage and not being in that condition, because it is hard to go that level, all right? And it is difficult to deal with. Okay, my experience, this is the good side of it, okay? So there's me all happy. Veiny thighs, guys, so I've got similar condition, and that's me on stage with my trophy, which I have aptly named Jeff. Okay? Everybody's Jeff. So, this competition I won, okay, this was a natural qualifier for the British Natural Bodybuilding Federation. This was last year, okay. 1 hour cardio a week, okay. That's an entire week, okay, which was 3 lots of 20-minute high intense interval training sessions, guys, okay. I had a social life. I was actually able to go out and enjoy myself. Okay, I got leaner, and by the way, again, I was flexible dieting, so I was having chocolate. Anybody who was following us on Instagram knew I was all over the Oreos, okay? And it was quite funny being backstage with, amongst the other competitors, hearing the stories of their diet, okay? Like, oh, no carbohydrates for a week, and the other one was like, oh, you know, I've been boiling this hours of cardio, and they were like, what about you? And I was like, oh, I had a sausage sandwich yesterday. And, you know, and because people think it's a badge of honor to go through the hell, to go through the diet. It's like, you are amazing because you did that. And people push them on, and that's all they got in their life. Likes on Facebook and Instagram clicks. It isn't real. You look on there and you see it, and I just think, I know what they want. They just want some sort of appreciation, because inside they feel like shit. And it is a horrible thing, and it does really hurt. I did retain more muscle, okay, because I wasn't doing so much. A hell of a lot less stress on my body. And there was no real issue surrounding food because I'd already been eating it. So I didn't crave anything. You know, I didn't get off stage and go for all of the meat. This is a big thing for me, guys. If it isn't fun, then why are you doing it? Okay? I enjoy this. I never expect anybody else to do it, Okay, if they ask us, I will actually try and say, are you sure? Are you sure you're ready? Okay, but I enjoy doing that. Okay, it's a good test for me. If you're not enjoying it, if you're getting on the treadmill for 45 minutes a day, okay, and eating bland, boring foods and getting nowhere, that isn't enjoyable. Okay, the definition of crazy is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. And I'm assuming everybody's here because they're kind of sick of that and they want to be pointed in the right direction. What have I got next? All right, guys, so what we're going to do, next up.
So guys, as Biggle said, I'm Liam, and Natural Nutrients is my company, and my sort of specialist area is nutrition, particularly natural nutrition, hence the company. So tonight, I'm going to kind of elaborate on what Ian was talking about, the fact that you can't just fill your macros with a load of rubbish and McDonald's and Burger Kings, if you want to obviously lose weight, get in shape. I'm a bit annoyed because I didn't realise I was following a stand-up comedian tonight, and although I've done lots of seminars before, I feel under the most pressure ever, so I'll try and add some jokes in about broccoli or some shit later, just to make it a little bit funnier. So Natural Nutrients is kind of sort of my business that I sort of obviously work alongside these guys with. Now we have a sort of a partnership, but you know, that's something that kind of I set up, which I'm going to talk about anyway later, off the back of not really finding a protein or a supplement company that I was happy to A, use myself, and B, recommend to clients, which, you know, I would never ever say to, you know, one of my clients to take something if I wouldn't take it myself. I know that's probably like corny 101, but genuinely that's how we like to do it. So anyhow, so we're literally going to talk about the quality of foods, alright, and why sort of, you know, if your 80% isn't the best bang for your buck in terms of nutrients, macronutrients, micronutrients, fatty acids, you're not really going to achieve what you potentially can achieve, alright? Yes, have flexibility, but it's got to be within the remit of that 80% being awesome in terms of food, alright? So, you know, calorie quality, obviously, it is dead important. So, you know, if sort of the calories and the macros, if your numbers, if you like, are the quantity, alright, and the things that give the body energy, especially if you're training, you know, so for somebody like Biggle who's, you know, very, very heavy sessions all the time, his energy and calorie intake is massive, alright? I mean, I'm a bit bigger than Biggle, so mine are a little bit higher, so bigger quads as well. But yeah, so if you're a bodybuilder, obviously you need a lot more energy coming in versus if you're sort of leaner and you're trying to kind of get lean, you know, fat loss, you know, cut in, you know, sort of aesthetic fat loss stuff. So yeah, and then aside from calories and macronutrients, we've got, you know, micronutrients, which are the things that really encourage processes within the body to take place. They're the things that, you know, your hormones are essentially made up of. Basically things that nourish your cell, which is where you want to get the nutrient to, alright, and make the body do what it's meant to do. And that's the kind of easiest way I can put it. So, you know, calories, macros, energy, micros, alright, if we're going to give it a name, micronutrients is quality, and that's where the health element comes in. The good thing with having a healthy body is that it will perform better than an unhealthy one. Alright, that's just a fact of physiology. You're going to lift heavier if you're healthier, because those calories are going to be able to get, or energy rather, is going to be able to get to where it needs to go to with the assistance of micronutrients. You're going to have more energy, like I say. Yeah, you know, if you're trying to come down to be fit, you know, on a Thursday when the best trainer's teaching. That's me, by the way. Yeah, if you're going to come down and do a really high intensity 20-minute session and you haven't ate all day, yeah, we get loads of people standing at that door like this, like, oh, I've got no energy. And then you ask what they've had for the day and it's like, you know, an apple. So yeah, you cannot perform without your energy, but also your quality. A good thing as well with healthy bodies, because we're in such a sort of fat loss focused world, and when I first started as a trainer, I kind of quickly built a reputation for being the fat loss guy, but what I really was the health guy. It's just much easier to sell fat loss. Alright, so from a marketing point of view, I'm not going to post a picture of, say, Dougie and go, look how healthy Dougie is, because people are like, that's good, do you know what I mean? So So yeah, so they will carry a lot less body fat. Okay, you only really carry fat if the body's overstressed or if something's not doing what it should do. And that generally can be traced back to nutrition, but also can be traced back to things like sleep, which is not really within the remit of this seminar. But we'll do a hormonal one, won't we, Biggle? Yeah, that's part 2 of this. Anyway, so guys, just very quickly, the bad foods, the things that we know aren't that health promoting, carry the most quantity in terms of calories, okay, but they carry very little quality, so very, very, very little nutrients. So we like to call these calorie dense foods, but not necessarily quality or nutrient dense, alright? And that, you need to kind of switch that balance over so you get more nutrient dense food, and often you find that nutrient dense food don't carry as many calories. Anyone following? Yes? Good. A lot of calories and densities and micros and bloody, try something said microwave or something, yeah. So guys, another great thing with nutrient rich foods, which if you are trying to sort of lose fat or gain muscle and you have to manipulate your daily intake of calories and macros, they often come with a lot more water, alright, which generally, for me, when I'm coaching a client, if they're hungry, first they're probably dehydrated, they're probably not hungry at all, alright, so the first thing would be to kind of drink water. Second, it's probably due to some fluctuation in insulin and blood glucose, alright, because of massively high intake of low nutrient dense foods and loads of sugars and carbohydrates. So if you're having a lot of nutrient rich foods like veg or fruits, for example, they obviously bring in a lot of water. The water gets in the cell and basically helps suppress the appetite slightly. Alright, so you're less likely to overeat and go beyond your calories if you eat high in nutrient dense food. Does that make sense? Yeah? Good. And you know, Biggle before talked about malnourishment, and again, it is always that, I'm not going to say that in politically correct term he used, but it is that, you know, Bob Geldof and all of his African cronies, you know, who I tried to make it funny. Anyway, cut that out. But yeah, that's what we think, like, oh, malnourished, very skinny, ribs showing, all the rest of it. But obesity literally is the biggest version of malnourishment. And the reason why is because although they're pumping loads of energy and food into the body's not getting the magnesium, the vitamins, you know, fatty acids, whatever that it needs to do whatever it does. So it's sending the body on a journey to get more of it. Does that make sense? And if it keeps putting more of the crap stuff in, it's still not getting it, so it sends it out again. Yeah? Sort of physiologically, like, we kind of think that we're in control of our choices, but generally we're not. The body kind of has loads of feedback loops within itself that kind of control, you know, what you crave, when you crave it, what your energy is. So, you know, there's a lot of kind of internal stuff, and this sort of new term that I kind of keep coming across, I mean, new research is hidden hunger, and that's sort of micronutrient hunger, alright, so essentially nutritional deficiencies in, you know, vitamins or minerals. Make sense? Yes, Liam, it does. Good, thanks. Anyway, guys, good calories. I wasn't going to go all fancy and bring me, what to call that red thing on after me Big Mac. Bickle did my animations, as you can tell, they're crapper than his. Yeah, so McDonald's isn't a good calorie for obvious reasons. There's probably more ingredients in a McDonald's than we would ever know. Probably Rosie and Nal would know what they are, and that's about it chemically. So we're not going to eat a lot of McDonald's in our 80% of good. We want lots of green shit, basically. We don't actually want green shit, so I'll be a bit concerned. But, you know, green foods, lots of nutrients, you know, avocado, literally one of the best things you can throw in for healthy fats. Yeah, so, you know, if you ever see a healthy food plate, you'll notice that it's quite colourful, and that's something that, you know, I like to kind of go off. Like, I'm not just going to have like a sort of a white meal, like that's typically healthy, like chicken and rice, because there's not that much going on there. The more colours I get on the plate, the more nutrients I know I've probably got with tomatoes, peppers, and things like that. Alright? So greens are mega important. So I'm just going to quickly blast through sort of each different macronutrient group and talk about what we sort of consider as a good calorie. I don't know why I keep doing this, but it's just one of those things. Right, guys, the proteins, we've got obviously fish, yeah, we've got chicken, we've got some sort of lean meats, we've got, you know, pulses and beans if you're vegetarian or vegan, So them are kind of your sort of good protein sources. You know, there's whey protein by Natural Nutrients obviously is an awesome source of protein, but we'll talk about that later. So this is kind of the protein elements, dead important, and it's massively important, as Ian said before, when you're training, because you need the protein, as we'll go into later, to help repair and recover and regenerate new tissues and cells, and without that, your training will plateau, you know, you'll be absolutely wrecked. But also with women, again, not to kind of pick on you tonight, but women are generally adverse to taking protein in, whether it's in the form of shakes or higher protein foods, because they think that they're going to look like pickle by the time they finish the 6 weeks plan. And honestly, the more protein you eat generally, unless you've got renal problems or kidney problems or whatever, you're never ever really going to get massive unless you start using some other stuff that's not called protein. So anyway, so that's that cleared up. Fibrous carbohydrates. So I like to kind of split carbs into two categories. We've got the fibrous kind, which again, you know, the best kinds for me is fruit and veggies. But when we talk fruits, like the lower GI stuff, so the stuff that's not going to spike blood glucose and insulin levels so much, like berries and strawberries and things like that. But typically the easiest way to think of fibrous carbs is obviously anything containing fibre, hence the name. But just think fruits, veg, that kind of, you know, healthier food. You want a lot of those because those are the things that have the more water in, as we said before, but also have absolutely abundance of micronutrients, which remember is not macronutrients. Micros are the health stuff, macros are your energy stuff. Alright, I know it's pretty confusing. And then we've got starchy carbs, and literally there was no good picture on Google that I was trying to get sort of like rice and pulses and stuff together, but I would only get like rice with bread and stuff. We're going to do a little bit on bread in a moment anyway, so I wasn't going to put that image in. But you know, starchier carbs are basically, if you want an easy way of thinking of white carbohydrates, so potatoes, rices, you know, even some fruits like bananas, things like that. Things that, you know, I think Biggle said you've got to kind of earn in your diet, and they're kind of dependent on calorie expenditure or energy expenditure, which is usually dependent on basically how much you move around or how often you train. Alright, so, you know, again, if sort of fat loss was your goal, especially initially, because most of us are already carrying an abundance of stored glycogen that we can, you know, pretty much cope and sort of live off essentially for energy for a little while. You don't need a massive amount of starchy carbs. Alright, try and use that as like, I've trained, then I can have my carbs because I've depleted what I've already got. It's like emptying a bucket and then filling it back up. Yeah. So that's kind of where we are. We can kind of talk about all this stuff later. Fats as well, guys. Literally been the evil whatever for the last 30 years. Certainly since I've been a personal trainer, fats have always had a bad rap. More recently, they are getting a good rap, okay, especially things like coconut oil, which we just so happen to sell. But genuinely good, healthy fats that A, provide energy for the body, and B, support every single cell in your body. Alright, the membranes of cells are literally made up of fat, so if you stop taking on board good bits of fat, and you're going to malnourish the cell membrane, and that'll actually block new nutrients getting inside the cell. And it's like, you've got to get the nutrients in the cell for the body to work. There's no point in floating around the bloodstream, alright, or sitting in fat tissue. Alright, you've got to get it in the cell. So the importance of fat not only for cell health, but for several other reasons, including brain function, alright, so it can't be disregarded, if you like. So things, you know, fish, especially fatty fish, is probably one of the best sources of fat. You also get protein in there. There's not usually that many carbs in fats. There's probably a little bit more carbs in things like cashews and nuts than people realise. But again, you know, a handful or whatever a day is a good way to get minerals in, alright, but also get a good little source of fat. So if you're having a salad and you want to sort of bump up your calories or whatever because you've got a heavy training session, my easiest way to do it would be just, you know, cold pressed virgin olive oil just over the top, okay, a few extra calories, or just a sprinkle of nuts, and it actually makes it so much more tasty. So don't like have just white salads. But again, you know, this is all stuff that we'll coach you through when you all sign up to do the transformation competition. Anyway, so guys, I just want to do a little bit more on starchy carbs because personally I feel like they're quite misunderstood, and traditionally everyone thinks that you need carbs for energy, but you only need carbs for energy if you used energy. Alright, so if you're coming to like a new transformation program, or you're trying to change your body composition, it's not really great to have like a carb overload, because you're probably, you know, already carrying additional body fat, and you've definitely already got quite a bit of stored glycogen, which is basically what we store carbs as. And again, to kind of keep you going a little bit initially, alright. But, you know, obviously we would help kind of work out what your requirements would be. If you continually eat more white starchy carbs versus the amount of energy you expend, then they'll basically be metabolized into fat and stored on the body as fat tissue. Alright, so if you're smashing pasta and bread every day, okay, because it's healthy according to the food pyramid, then you're probably carrying additional body fat. And the place where you'll store it is here, which is where I store fat, because I'm sensitive to insulin. Alright, that's in the next seminar, don't worry. So yeah, so if you're having too many carbs and you've got love handles, that's why you've got love handles, yeah. Basically. Yeah, and most of, if not all starchy carbs, like I say, should be enjoyed around training, preferably sort of straight after your session. I think, Vic, in the next, we'll do the bit on carb loading in the next seminar, yeah? Okay. Yeah, but it's kind of like, ideally carbs as well should really come later in the day, okay? And just not to go off topic, but the reason for that is that in the morning, we're still physiologically programmed from ancient times to metabolize fat tissue back into the blood as fatty acids for energy. Alright, so as cortisol, which is the hormone that picks you up and gets you awake on the morning, starts to rise to pull your backside out of bed ready for the job that you hate going to, that basically is breaking down fat, shuttling energy into the body for you to use, because that initial morning period is essentially when we would hunt or gather. Okay, so your cortisol secretion in the morning would be quite high. It tends to tail off after, depending on your individuality, physiology, stress, everything like that. It should really start tailing off about 2 o'clock and then start suppressing even more. And then later in the day, melatonin, which is a sleep hormone, will be secreted to essentially blunt cortisol and send you to sleep. And that's when you start to feel drowsy. Alright? So yeah, so in the morning, if you're having a lot of carb, well, I'll just retract. If in the morning, if you have a lot of cortisol being secreted into the blood, alright, which is kind of doing a natural energy burning thing, you don't want to stop that. You kind of want to let that happen, alright, because it's, you know, it's extra energy expenditure that you don't have to do anything for. It's happening anyway. If you have a smash of carbohydrates like ultra healthy Special K, that's not ultra healthy, then this release of insulin is literally going to turn off the cortisol tap. So your period of cortisol secretion is going to be blunted a lot sooner. So you're going to essentially miss out on extra fat burning. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you've got to try and support what the body wants to do rather than go against it. So, you know, just Special K is terribly unhealthy for breakfast. Alright. Even like things like oats and stuff, they're probably better just a couple of times a week, not every single morning. Alright, because you're missing out on that important sort of energy expenditure. And yeah, essentially what you'll usually find, we all know this, especially if we have a massive Sunday dinner, if you have a big influx of simple sugars or carbohydrates, shortly after you'll feel a slump. And the reason, you know, why lying on your side, just cradling your belly, and the reason why that happens is simply because anything that's very simple, sugar-wise, basically skyrocket insulin and blood sugars super duper quick. And there's a bit of a delay in the sort of body saying, right, okay, insulin, stop secreting yourself into the blood. And what ends up happening, it goes too high too quick, alright, and then it'll actually come down and drop below your base levels of blood glucose. Cut this out. Can't have a droppage. You didn't drop. Shit. Right, that's it. I'm out. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, so if you are constantly having, you know, the classic Special K for breakfast, 10 o'clock break, Mars bar and cup of coffee with sugar. Yeah. Have that, 12 o'clock, sandwich. Have that, 2 o'clock, Mars bar, cup of coffee. Have that, 4, do you know what I mean? Like, you've all probably been in this cycle before, and you're probably having too much of the white stuff, which sounds better than it is, by the way. Alright. We're talking about carbohydrates, I know, you know. That's our next nutrient line of work. But yeah, so if that was like your fasting blood glucose level you don't want to ever go too high over it because you'll be like perked up, and you don't want to go too far under it because you'll be hypoglycemic or low blood sugar and you'll feel tired and you'll want to eat something to pick it back up, and then the cycle continues. I like to call it as fat storage, low energy, okay, and that's the easiest way to think about it. Happy? Easy. So guys, the other kind of component of nutrition that is, massively talked about, and something that, is a big sort of clean thing. And, for me, 4.5 years ago when I started being a trainer, I was the biggest clean eater because from a health promoting aspect, not, putting chemicals and preservatives and reactive or toxic food in the body obviously is better. The downside is that the media's taken clean eating and totally misconstrued what it is, okay? And now it's probably worked out to be like this ultra low calorie, avoid everything, got no social life type of way of dieting. So, now I'm kind of like, I don't like to give my quality nutrition coaching a name of that because it's kind of not what it is anymore. And obviously working with Ian, we've kind of amalgamated both of our ideas on nutrition, and we've actually come up with probably one of the best coaching principles and policies that you could follow for transformation. But essentially, one of the keys to being healthy is to keep a healthy gut. Alright, and people always say a healthy gut, healthy mind, which is actually very true. There's a lot more sort of signals in the stomach than the brain technically, and you're going to feel a lot worse when you've got a bad stomach than when you've got a little bit of a headache. Alright, so what we need to try and do is make sure that the digestive tract is ultra healthy so that you can digest all the food that you're eating. Because if you're not, then they're going to be festering, they're going to be turned into some sort of toxin that's just going to have to be stored as fat out the way, alright, from harming the body. So what we like to call these is reactive foods, and what they essentially are is things that you may react to in the sense that you might bloat up, you might get IBS, or you might be essentially allergic to. So a lesser intake of these, like I never ever say like take this out forever because it's impractical, and that's something that sort of mainstream clean eaters try to coach now, like which is taking it too far the other way. But just be aware of these foods that if you are getting continual bloating, I know we've got it in our balanced blueprint, I think, which is our nutritional document, we've got a bit about small periods of elimination, okay, where you take these foods out and reintroduce them to see what's causing the bloating. And if you go to a doctor and say, I was going to say a joke there, doctor joke, but if you go to the doctor and say, I'm bloated or whatever, the first thing they'll probably do is try and ask you to take stuff out of your diet and reintroduce it. So that's essentially what you're doing without going to see now. Sorry mate, I just put you out of business there. But anyway guys, most reactive and allergenic foods are massively processed, alright? And pretty much, the vast amount of wheat, gluten, yeast products, particularly bread, is hugely produced on a massive scale. Unfortunately, there's too many politics and lobbyists involved in the production of companies such as Kingsmill, Warburton's, that they'll probably always be here, alright, because the massive parts of our industry and society, and there's too many jobs involved, all that kind of boring stuff. But what you've got to understand is that, certainly before I was born, bread used to be just 4 ingredients, water, salt, yeast, flour, whatever. This is typically what bread is now, so 12 ingredients or something. And the reason to do this, there's usually 3 different things. One is artificial taste, to make it taste nicer or mask the actual ingredient that's going in. The second is often to replace fats so they can get a low fat claim. And the third is to keep it on the shelf longer. If we were a manufacturer of bread, I'm not going to make any money if it's stale in 3 days. Logistically, it takes us a lot longer to get that into a shop than it does to sell it and it'll be off. So they've got to add stuff in there to keep it on the shelf. But no one's kind of picked up on that because Mr. Warburton and his healthy little family there who are smashing bread all day, he's going to say, well actually we did used to use 4 ingredients but now we use 44. But I didn't want to say anything. So it's just to kind of raise your awareness that there is often E numbers in a lot of these wheat, yeast and gluten derived products. There is typically a lot of soya used, alright, which is a massive allergen. Most of the soya produced in the world is genetically modified as well, which there's massive campaigns about. So again, gone are the days of the simple ingredients and the unbleached flours. And I don't know if you can see that, but to bleach a flower, okay, to make it whiter or whatever colour they want to turn to, they usually use peroxide. I think girls would probably know what peroxide does to her hair, never mind the inside. So, like I say, if that fits your macros and you want to eat it, as Ian said, it's your choice. But what I'm trying to do is kind of help you identify the best possible choices and the things that give you the most nutritional bang for your buck. And 80% of your diet being bread probably wouldn't be that. Guys, next one. Okay, great way for me to talk about source of products and stuff, which is something we're massively big on. You know, dairy again, low quality dairy. Dairy can be good. This is the annoying thing. Low quality dairy that you see in the shops, mass produced on massive cattle farms, you know, where the cows essentially just thrown in a pen, they're fed off a trough of, you know, soya laden, pesticide sprayed corn, absolutely no nutrition, very unhealthy from an ethical standpoint, not very ethical. And they're massively processed. And what processing does to a food is it denatures it. What denature basically means is sort of arrangement or rearrangement of the food. And as we're natural bodies, we're meant to be, you know, eating natural foods. If something's totally arranged and deranged or denatured, by the time we try to absorb it, we can't really figure out what it is. And hence why these allergens are becoming more and more common, because the amount of processing. So the sort of whole food, single ingredients is really where you want to go. Again, from an ethical standpoint, they usually use recombinant bovine growth hormone, which is a way of producing more milk from a cow. Totally unnatural, yeah. Boron and his caveman mates never fed steroids to the cows, I'm sure, or the goats for that matter. And the source of the milk, okay, from what the cow's fed, how it lives, to its health, is absolutely everything when it comes to dairy. So organic dairy is better than commercially produced dairy, okay, that's a fact. And grass-fed is factually 100 times better. That's why we do grass-fed whey protein as opposed to grain-fed whey protein, which is basically my protein, everybody else in that category. We don't use, and grass-fed cows typically or routinely never use steroids, alright, because we don't want a cow that's being fed steroids. Antibiotics, there's no need for antibiotics, and these are routinely used in the big mass cattle pens because the conditions are terrible, so they're just festering in squalor or disease or whatever. So they have to use antibiotics to heal the cow. If a cow's out on grass pretty much most of the years, it should be, then they're not in that environment for something to fester. Okay, so again, you know, if I was going to a shop, probably the best milk, okay, I like milk, guys, the best milk is probably Graham's, which you get in Tesco typically, and it's just like a litre, it's only £1, and it's, I think they've got an organic certified farm, they're all grass fed, you know, very healthy cows. And obviously off the back of their health and the routine lack of use of steroids and hormones and things like that, the quality of the milk's better. Alright, so if you want to absorb quality dairy, then choose grass-fed sources. And guys, just the last one is obviously processed foods. You know, the words processed and food shouldn't even go together. Kind of goes so far away from what we're meant to eat. Okay, there's no coincidence. There's animals and grass and plantation, everything around the world. Okay, that's our kind of natural diet. So wherever you're seeing any mass preservatives or any enums or anything that you can't really pronounce, you don't want 80% of your diet to come from that. Squeeze that into your 20%. You don't want artificial colours or flavours, you want natural stuff. You don't want GMO or genetically modified organisms. You don't want fats that they just synthetically create. Okay, terrible for inflammation. Sugars, again, have a look for sugars, guys. They're in more things than you realise. High fructose corn syrup is probably the worst sugar ever. Yeah, basically non-foods, no nutritional value, just like alcohol. If you want to have it, that's up to you. If you want the best results and the best health, then, you know, keep it for your 20%. So guys, basically, as well as quantity, quality is as important, alright, as important rather. So because that affects your health and you'll get the best results from being more healthy, focus on quantity and quality in the same light. The majority of your diet obviously should come from those natural, minimally processed whole food sources. Starchy white carbs are best eaten on train days and if possible after sessions. And as I said before, if you're not feeling very good intestinally, alright, and your gut's not being great, which I don't really need any more information on, gut and immune health is typically derived by mass intake of allergens and reactive foods. Guys, I'm just going to crack on because I know I'm doing a pickle on you here. So, how to optimise the results that you get from eating a good diet and training like you do at 2B Fit, which is obviously the best gym in Chester Street. Yeah? world. Sorry, I shuffled that bit. So guys, obviously you supplement or you add something in there that you potentially struggle to get from training or diet. Essentially, most people, for whatever reason, are carrying some form of deficiency. Okay, not across the board range of vitamins and minerals, but generally across most things like magnesiums or vitamin D, sometimes iron quite regularly. And it's a lot more convenient to add these to your diet in the form of a supplement or supplementation than it is to go and eat another plate of veg. Okay, veg fills you up quick because of the nutrients and because of the water, so you probably can't eat 20 plates of it a day. Okay, so, you know, and people are so busy nowadays that, you know, I understand, and this is the whole sort of old age cleaner thing, you can't just prepare everything. Okay, it's sometimes okay for us when we're down here all day or we're in the house working our business or whatever to stand and prepare food, but if you're, you know, a crazy 9 to 5, you've got kids in the morning, husband in the night, whatever, it's, you know, it's just much more convenient to add additional supplementation and nutrients to your diet than blasting out another meal. Usually much more cost efficient as well, okay, which is where supplement market obviously came from. Guys, again, I'll just blast through why choose us over any other supplement supplier. Whether you choose us or not is your choice, I just tell you the facts, okay. We have 3 core values that we're really working on at the moment, and that's to be ethical, natural, and nutritional. So essentially we have a 100% clean label transparency policy, which means every single thing that is in our products, raw ingredients, finished products, formulations, goes on our label. And the reason I do that is because it's all natural, so I have no problem sharing that information. Supplementation in the food industry is one of the dirtiest industries, and the more we've developed over the last 2 years, the better conversations we've had with people who make decisions in the industry about how legislation is going to change. So we're going to prosper, plus more natural companies. You know, my proteins of the world are either going to have to radically change something or start changing formulations, because if they have to declare everything, they're not going to be very happy about it. We, you know, for example, we use grass-fed proteins because I don't really want, you know, a cow to be its whole life just stuck in a pen. Okay, not that I'm a tree-hugging hippie or whatever, but you know what I mean. I'm quite an ethical person, so we prefer to use grass-fed protein for quality as well as the ethical standpoint. We have fish oils that are manufactured by a British retail consortium manufacturer, which is basically a consortium that essentially encourages companies who, or promotes companies rather, who are encouraging sustainable farming. So, you know, not kind of just going swallowing a load of fish, okay, and just whipping them out and not kind of putting anything back to the sea, but also guys who are fishing from countries and parts of the world where there's no sort of dioxins or toxins in the sea. All right, and you can't get the BRC accreditation unless you fit their criteria. We've got a massive vegetarian and vegan focus at the moment because it's a massively growing industry for very much individual reasons. We are 100% natural. Okay, everything in our ingredients is derived from nature, whether that's a plant, you know, or milk or whatever. We don't use anything artificial. Okay, and that's kind of why, you know, I set this up, because I couldn't find anyone doing that. Natural flavours. Okay, we use stevia to sweeten a natural extract from the stevia plant. The more minimal the process is, or the less denaturing the product's done, the more we want it. Okay, so we pretty much have a zero tolerance to processing, and they're all GMO free. In fact, as of next month, we'll be one of the first UK whey protein companies to offer a sunflower agglomerated whey protein, which basically means if you have a look at a whey protein, it'll say soy lecithin trace at the very end of the ingredients, and that's something to mix with the powder to stop it from clumping. Okay, although we used a non-GMO soy, okay, and it's only 0.1%, so it's very, very not even really on the allergen scale. I was pretty confident and desperate to get sunflower agglomerated whey, and we've got that, and we're first, and boy does everyone know it. Anyway, so we use higher bioavailable forms of supplements, so we're not really going to use magnesium oxide because its absorption rate can be as low as 4%. Check most of your cheap supermarket supplements, especially magnesiums, oxide will be in there because it's the cheapest thing. We'd rather pay more and get a better quality product, and that's how we've managed to do so well so quick. We have much more active ingredients than less excipients. Excipients are things like flow agents that helps the manufacturer run through supplements much faster so he can make more money. We don't really want all of that stuff, although, you know, most of them are natural. we want as little as those impossible, and more of the stuff that actually has an impact on the body. And again, you know, the last point. And guys, literally 5 minutes. Sorry if I'm boring you, Amy. God, that's more important than my talk. No way. See you later. Cut that out. Cut that out. Anyway, guys, so very quickly, my top 4 supplements that I think sort of most people should typically use. Vitamin D3, because it is one of the most nutrient deficient, you know, highest nutrient deficiency, especially in the Western world. Okay, so over Europe, especially in the UK, where we don't really get a lot of sunlight, or we're in an office all day, then in a house all day, so we don't get a lot of sunlight that way. It's massively, massively important for bone health and immunity. It's kind of taken over vitamin C and the immunity boosting health properties. And if you Google vitamin D studies, it's literally been linked to everything: brain function, Alzheimer's, the lot. If you are living a diet that's low in terms of fatty fish, eggs, and you're predominantly indoor, okay, so not exposed even just for 20 minutes a day to the UV rays from outside, then it's quite likely that your vitamin D levels would be where they should be. So yeah, one of my favourites. Magnesium again, yeah, massively important, another massive deficiency. Pretty much everything that happens in your body enzymatically happens with magnesium. That's hence why it's depleted so quickly, but also depleted quickly if you're stressed lots, okay? Have a lot of caffeine intake, don't sleep very well, you drink a lot of alcohol. Usually, if you ever get cramps in your legs, if you track back the last couple of days, you've probably A, had alcohol, B, had caffeine, B, being stressed, or C, B, even though it was D, be dehydrated in some respect. And from a training aspect, it actually helps the repair and recovery of damaged tissue, okay? So if you train, you basically break down fibres and tear them, all right, to basically essentially help them rebuild. You need magnesium, okay? Some studies also say it's a mild sedative at night, all right, and it can help you kind of drop off to sleep. Guys, fish oil, I've got this literally and one more, and then we're on to the lads. Every cell in your body, as I said before, about the fat is supported by fatty acids and omega-3, so it's really important to nourish those. It's essentially important, particularly DHA for brain function, and then EPA, which is the other fat that you usually find in supplements for joint health and nourishing the joint, reducing inflammation. So if you get a lot of achy joints off training, aside from additional hydration, which is probably the initial problem, add supplementation of fish oil and you'll be spot on. And guys, whey protein, it's an essential or complete protein because it contains all 9 essential amino acids. Essential meaning don't synthesize within the body, which means you have to get them from your food. To get lean, drop a lot of body fat, build a lot of muscle, look really good, you need protein. That's your building blocks, that's your bricks of your house. And protein or higher in protein intake increases satiety, so it makes you feel fuller for longer. And it helps boost the metabolism and stabilize blood sugars, which, as you remember before, was something that actually increased hunger. And guys, it's a convenient, cost-efficient way to obtain your daily macro goal of protein if you're mega busy and have like 100,000 businesses and jobs like me. And on that note, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Just a little bit about myself. I'm Ash, I'm one of the PTs here. I predominantly do, a lot of PT. I only do 2 classes on a Tuesday and some on a Saturday. The class that I do are the WODs and the HITs, and that's what we're going to talk about now, and some of the boot camps. Alright? Actually works. Alright, so the 3 classes that we've got are, obviously we've got the HITs, we've got a WOD and a boot camp. We've got the open gym here, of course, just out the back there. Personal training, which we're all involved with, myself, Liam, Bickle and Stephen, yeah, I don't forget. Oh, sorry, man.
Kirsty as well.
Oh yeah, Kirsty, sorry, everyone with Kirsty. I also do a lot of nutritional coaching here, which just takes place upstairs. Let's say you've been at work all day and you've only got, let's say, 20 minutes, half an hour work. Get yourself down and hit. Alright, it's a high intense interval training session, which is generally going to tap into the anaerobic stores, alright? So it's really hard, alright? It might be 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, so the rest periods are relatively low, but the idea of them is that you're going to really kind of hit home for about, 100% of it, so it's maximal effort, okay? It's going to increase your cardiovascular endurance massively, raise your metabolism. It's going to be brilliant for, fat burn, melting that fat off, okay? So a couple of things here, 20 minutes, similar in structure and brutal in its simplicity. They are really tough, right? They will look really easy at first, right? It might just be, you know, a few wall balls, a few clean and press, but if you're doing that continuously on the minute, every minute, all right, you've got a fencer in the middle there, then, you know, a death's going to happen. It changes daily, so it's constantly varied. That's one of the main things. Scores are always recorded, so when although the awards are different, all right, we generally do have like maybe an award like once, like so. For example, I would do a award today, then award in let's say about 2 or 3 months time. We need this, all right. Really for the next slide here. This gives us like an accurate kind of form of data. For an example, if you just see up there, my score's in the black, all right, and Bruce's in the mine's. I'm better than Bruce, that's all you need to know, right? That's all you need to know. They're not, he's lying. Alright? So, you know, you've got a little one there, let's say 30 box jumps, 60 GHD sit-ups, alright? Let's say we're doing that today, we then look to then do that again in 3 months' time. Then obviously if you've got a little bit quicker, faster, more reps, then obviously you've improved, alright? And that's what we're always looking. Everyone needs to improve constantly, otherwise what's the point of coming to the gym? Okay? So it's got to be competitive, that's what I love about it. Always pushing yourself. Okay, now this is the kind of signature class for the whole of 2 Fit really. When I first come here, it was way back in October I think it was. I came to like the Saturday boot camp, and what kind of struck me massively was the kind of togetherness of everyone. Everyone's kind of got each other's backs a little bit. It's very sort of team oriented, great community sort of thing. But I've never really been in a place where kind of everyone's always pushing each other. So it doesn't matter if you're a complete beginner or a totally advanced. The workouts are obviously they are very scaled, alright. But with the boot camps, it's just a sort of thing that it's like a sense of kind of belonging to a sort of place or thing. It's like kind of the identity of this place. So this is a full hour class. They are really sort of brutal. Fun, friendly, challenging, alright. And again, you can kind of push yourself as far as you want to go. Sometimes do little teams, which are pretty fun, or you know, little kind of partner boot camps as well. So they're all pretty good. So definitely get yourself down there if you haven't already been one of them. Open gym, obviously that's out the back there. A lot of things, I think a lot of people really don't take advantage of the open gym as much as they maybe should do, alright? And that can be for a few different reasons, that maybe you're not quite sure what you need to be doing there, how you should be training and stuff like that. Well, just come and ask us, do you know what I mean? Like, give us a message on whatever. We're here to help basically. But just to kind of go over, we've just got a few new squat racks in there which are pretty good. Got dumbbells from 1 kilogram up to 50 kilograms. I mean, I'm pushing 46, 50s at the moment. Power racks, obviously, so we've got a few more sort of squat racks in there. We've got 5 bench now, we've got a cable pulley machine, 30 barbells, just kind of behind you there. The cardio, we've got the rows, we've got the prowlers. The gym itself is open from 6:30 in the morning till 9. Friday it's till 8, Saturdays till 8 till 4, and Sundays just till 2 o'clock. Alright, so at any time you come in, use the open gym. Just come and speak to us though if you're not quite sure for anything. Alright, well, let's say you've got an injury to a lower back or something. If it's just a little bit of advice, just come and speak to us. We're not, you know, that's what we're here to help. Just send a message on Facebook or whatever. Alright.
Right guys, I'm just going to jump straight in after Ash and kind of continue a little bit about why we train, how we train, okay, and how we kind of put together our classes and, you know, why we put them together in that way, okay? So, basically, like I said, how we train, or why we train, how we train, okay? 2 reasons: to increase fitness, second one, to improve health, okay? And I'm sure for most of you, that's why you come to the gym, okay? There's probably side goals alongside improving your fitness, you know. Health is the same, you know, maybe it's to lose weight, you know, maybe it's to kind of fight the onset of diabetes, whatever it might be. So yeah, they're generally the 2 main reasons why we train, how we train, okay? What is fitness, okay? I know everyone's probably a little bit tired now, it's starting to get a bit dark, you know, you've been hammered with information. Basically, I'm going to get a bit more interactive, okay? So, what is fitness? Sam, you're not allowed to answer this, okay? Anyone else? Can anyone give me a good definition of fitness? Does anyone know? And just shout out to me.
Liam.
Liam? He's okay. He's nearly there. Right, it's hard, okay? It's hard to define fitness, alright? And for years, there's never been a good definition of fitness. You know, the ability to perform day-to-day tasks, you know, to not get ill, to be fit is one definition of fitness. There's some very respected publisher in America that doesn't even attempt to define fitness. They just can't. Okay? Until recently, there was no real good definition of fitness. The best definition of fitness I've heard is this: to increase work capacity across broad time and model domains. Okay? The hell does that mean? Okay? Basically, to increase work capacity means to do more work, okay, across broad time. So any time duration ranging from something very short, lifting up a weight once, you know, a very quick sprint, to something longer, a half marathon, a marathon, okay, an Ironman triathlon, okay. So something from short to long duration, okay, in all domains, okay, lots of different tasks, okay. So, you know, a lot of people would say, you know, someone like Mo Farah, the fittest guy in the world. Is he? Is he really? He can do one thing very well. He can repeat, he can run, he's got great cardiovascular endurance, but there's a hell of a lot of other components of fitness that, you know, he would be very lacking in. Okay, strength. He's not going to be able to squat what Big can squat. He's not going to be, you know, agile enough to climb a rope, you know, do a handstand press up. He's not going to beat, you know, the majority of people here in some sort of prowler push. Okay? He's good at one thing, alright? And that's what I think fitness is kind of being boxed as for many years, okay? Endurance, okay? It's not. That's one component of fitness, okay? There's 10, okay? You know, we're talking balance, power, speed, strength, coordination, okay? There's a ton of different components of fitness out there, alright? So don't fall into the trap of thinking, to be fit, I need to be able to go for a long time, okay? That's one, alright? One component. What is health? Okay, so we've kind of defined what fitness is, okay? It's the ability to do more work from a long or a short to a long duration, you know, from as many different exercises as we can throw together as possible. So what is health? Okay? Health is the ability to maintain your fitness throughout your life or throughout your years. Okay? In the next slide, I'm going to kind of come on to it. I'm going to actually draw some graphs and stuff. Okay, I'm going to get really technical. And talk about kind of how fitness is very, very, well, it is health, okay? So, the science behind it, all right? That's where we kind of can get a bit geeky. The sickness, wellness, and fitness continuum, all right? So basically what we have is a big curve here, okay? At this side, we will have sickness. In the middle, we will have what, you know, the NHS, etc. would class as wellness, okay? And over here, we've got fitness. Pretty much anything we can plot on this curve, okay? So let's kind of look at blood pressure, okay? Average, or what is considered a healthy blood pressure, is about 120/80, okay? Sickness, okay, blood pressure, if your blood pressure is 180/100, you're in trouble, okay? You need to be on medication, okay? Throughout my kind of career as a fitness instructor, I've worked in gyms, I've worked alongside, you know, doctors, GP referral scheme, you know, people will get referred to the gym with high blood pressure, okay? Where I used to work, we couldn't take anyone to exercise if their blood pressure was anything like that, okay? And these people would refer to us from the doctor, you know, to try and get healthier. They were already on medication, and because their blood pressure was so high, legally and safely, I couldn't get them in the gym. I couldn't get them working out. It was far too dangerous, okay? Somebody healthy has probably got a blood pressure of something like 105/55, okay? So what this kind of means, okay, is some fit, active person who's going to the gym and pushing themselves all the time has got a hell of a lot further before they will reach sickness than what just your kind of everyday average, this is kind of healthy. Okay? We can put anything on here, okay? We can talk about body fat, okay? What's a good kind of average body fat? About 20%, okay? Someone who's very fit, very active, goes to the gym a lot, probably got a body fat percentage around about 10%, okay? Sickness, 40% classed as obese, okay? Struggling, 40% body fat, you've got a whole host of health conditions that are kind of linked in with that, okay? But if you're 10%, it's going to take you a hell of a lot of time if you stop training to get to 40%, okay? So that's what we kind of need to think about. You know, fitness really is health, okay? If we can stay here for as long as we can throughout our life, okay, we're going to be at much lower risk of stuff like, you know, heart disease, cancers, strokes, okay? So which is why we kind of really want to push and strive to be as fit and therefore as healthy as possible. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah, you can shout, you can shout. I know you said you can't talk because you're on video, you can talk. One other thing, like I said, you can put anything on here, and one thing that's really important, it's often overlooked, okay, bone density, alright, massive, especially in regards to women, okay. As women kind of get to about 35, you kind of lose bone density at about 1.2% per year, okay. The fitter you are, the more kind of weight you can lift, the stronger you can get, you're going to slow down that rate, okay. The National Osteoporosis Society actually recommends weight-bearing activity to, as a prevention to osteoporosis, sorry. So, again, the fitter we can be, the further we are away from this kind of sickness, alright? Which is why we train how we do here. Get my clicker back out. Right, this is where it gets kind of really geeky, okay? And hopefully now we can kind of bust a few myths, about what the best way to train is, what the most efficient way, and this is all about fat burning now, okay? So we're kind of flipping it around, we're talking about fat burning. So, Ash, can you chuck us a bit of blue roll? Just quickly wind that down. So, IIFYM. Anyone heard of it before? No one? Excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. It's quite hard to say, I've practiced that a few times. It's a bit of a tongue twister, alright? What the hell does that mean, okay? Basically, I've drawn a little graph here, okay? This is your metabolic rate, or oxygen consumption, okay? You may have a resting level of that, okay? Who knows what it is? It's just on the graph, okay? Does anybody know what metabolic rate is? Or BMR, basal metabolic rate? Anyone know? No? Basically, it's the amount of calories you burn at rest, okay? The more calories you burn at rest, the more active you are, okay? The lower your body fat is going to be, okay? The more calories you can consume, alright? So, if that is our resting metabolic rate, okay? Down here we have time, okay, going along. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, so on, okay? Let's kind of plot a couple of different workouts on this graph, and we'll see how they kind of play out, okay? So we look first at your traditional, like Ian mentioned before, low intensity, steady state workout, okay? So that might be going for a jog. What most people would think of, I want to get fit, I want to get healthy, I'm going to go for a nice long 1 hour jog, okay? Awesome. Let's see what it is, alright? So basically, resting metabolic rate, what's going to happen? You're going to go for that jog, everything's going to go, heart rate, etc., okay? We're going to kind of level off down there, and that's it, hour jog, okay? This whole area down here, we've increased our metabolic rate on that run, okay, from our resting. This whole area here, this is where we're burning more calories an hour, okay? So that may be, a 400, 500 calorie kind of deficit we've got there. We've burnt those calories, okay, that we weren't normally going to burn at our resting metabolic rate, okay? Awesome, 400 calories, brilliant. Right, let's look at something like a high intense interval training session. You've all, well, not all of you, a lot of you will have done them in here, our HIIT classes, our boot camps, our WODs, that kind of thing. Very intense, at the end of it, you're on the floor, you're absolutely knackered, okay? They're short, alright, but the intensity is right up, So what happens? We start here, that intensity kind of ramps up somewhere around out here, and that's it. 20 minutes, half an hour max, okay? By this point, you should literally be rolling around in a puddle of your own sick. Alright, you should be working that hard, okay? A lot of you who come in will know that feeling. Alright, literally on the floor, you might be doing some crowd pushes, you're on the floor for a good 3 or 4 minutes, at the end you physically can't get up, okay? The more you can push it in the session, the higher this is going to go, okay? So like Ash kind of mentioned, if you're coming in, you just think, alright, I'm not going to kind of pick up that kettlebell, or I'm going to kind of go for a slightly easier level, okay? You're not going to get that spike as high as someone next to you who's literally going to the point where they're on the floor, and that 30 or 40 second rest, whatever it might be, they will be spent, in the fetal position on the floor, just trying to kind of get something back for the next one. That's where we want to be, that's where you want to get, okay? The kind of magic happens after the workout finishes. Okay, so we can kind of see in this one, all right, if we look at that little area under there, all right, it's probably not as much as our hour-long jogger. All right, he might have burned 400 calories in his hour jog. Okay, us in our HIIT class here might burn 200. All right, not very good argument for our gym so far, right? You know, you're better off going for an hour-long jog. But like I said, the magic is what happens after that workout. Okay, this metabolic rate after that hour-long jog, because you can't sprint for an hour, nobody can sprint for an hour, okay, your heart rate, you haven't created that kind of hormonal change to really adapt or change, okay, this is going to go down very quickly, okay, back to resting level, okay. So this is when your workout's finished here, alright, we've got these kind of calories here, or this energy or oxygen debt, it's sometimes known as, is extra, okay. So you might burn 400 calories on your jog, you finish it, you know, you might burn an extra 75 or something before, you know, that metabolic rate returns to normal, okay? So in total, your hour-long jog is kind of giving you 475 calories burned for that day, alright? Your high-intense interval session, okay, doesn't follow that same drop-off, okay? Your drop-off is much more gradual, alright? It follows something like that, maybe, you know, exaggerate slightly, it's a bit more of a kind of droopy curve, that's quite a good straight line, okay? But you can see, okay, although we only burned 200 calories in the actual session, you know, this huge area here, you know, and this can go on, you know, there's been studies to show it can go on for up to, before it reaches this rested metabolic rate, for 30 plus hours, okay? You would have to be going pretty bloody hard to get it going and keep it up for 30 hours, okay? But, you know, for hours and hours after you finish that session, you are still burning more calories an hour, okay? Which is absolutely magic, because we might have got 200 calories there, but when we look at this huge area here, I can't even work that out based on this graph, you know, that could be worth hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of calories, okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? But to get that, okay, you really do need to push it, okay? You need to be kind of on the verge of, you know, kind of life and death. Alright? Which, you know, if a lot of you have kind of done the classes here, you will know what that feels like. Alright? If I say, you know, like you kind of mentioned, or Ash mentioned, you know, with the HIIT, the simplicity is the brutality of it, okay? I did a workout in the HIIT class last week, a few weeks ago, and it was basically every 3 minutes, okay? So set a clock, you started, you did 12 clean and press, you did 9 burpees, you ran to the fence and back. 3 minutes to do all that work, okay? Sounds like nothing. 8 times through like that, people were literally dying on the floor, okay? It was an absolute killer, alright? On paper, it looks like nothing. In reality, it is absolutely brutal. If you can push it, go hard, load up that bar, hit your burpees hard, actually sprint fast, okay? You are going to get this up nice and high, and you are going to get this awesome kind of sweep and curve down here, okay? Does that make sense? Does that kind of clear up a few kind of myths? And this is, guys, why we kind of do the classes that we do, alright? Because we're going to get this kind of response, okay? You can't kind of sustain, you know, this high intense exercise for, you know, hour-long periods, which is why our boot camp, or most of our boot camps are all very work, rest, work, rest. You know, you'll do a certain amount of station, you'll have a little rest, you'll move to the next station, or you'll do 3 or 4 sets on that station with some rest periods in, okay? If we said, you know, do clean and press for an hour, you're not going to be loading up your bar with 40, 50 kilos, okay? But, you know, if you're doing it for short reps, then you're moving on to something else, or you're getting a little rest in there, you can keep that intensity up, all right? Which is what we want. I think that is pretty much it for me. It is. I think Ian's going to come back up. I don't know where Ian's gone. Oh, Ian's outside. So I'll kind of continue. With how the challenge works. Actually, guys, 2 minutes before Ian jumps back in, kind of talking about this in like our 3 classes and why we do them. I know we've gone through a bit of change back end of last year. You know, we used to do spinning here, okay? We dropped that, we replaced that with the WODs. You know, we did MetaFit, we replaced that with HIIT. I know that's not everyone's taste, okay? But the reason we did it is behind us, right there, okay? Spinning, okay, was basically this. Alright? Our HIITs, our WODs are this. Alright? But you're going to get you much fitter and therefore much healthier from doing those sessions, all right, rather than sitting on a bike and pedaling, okay? Nobody used to fall off a bike and roll around and hold themselves in the field position after a spin class, okay? But you know, you've done a HIIT class, you've done a WOD, you've done a boot camp, it's like that, okay? Which is why we do that, okay? You know, it's the same with a lot of other kind of commercial classes. You know, I know there's a lot of kind of aerobic dance classes, I'll not name them, okay, Zumba, you know, that kind of thing, all right? Again, it's this, all right? You're moving around continuously for an hour, you're not going to get that metabolic spike, okay? You can't get your heart rate up quick enough. You can't dance faster than a beat, okay? You're going to look like an idiot at the front of your class, you know, they're going to be like, what's she doing? So, you know, that's kind of why we got rid of those old workouts or classes we used to do, and we're kind of where we are now, okay? And that's not going to change, all right? We're going to do what gets you guys fitter and healthier. All right.
Shall I come in?
You can come in now. Right, guys, the 6-week challenge, how it works. All right. Photos to be submitted tomorrow. Okay. We want one from the front, one from each side, and one from the back. Okay. You must include a copy of any newspaper. You don't have, you know, not a certain one. We're not promoting any newspapers. Must include a kind of copy of the daily newspaper, so we know it's not a photo from 3 years ago. You know, when you were 3 stone heavier or whatever. Okay? Your photos, okay? Like I said, one from the front, one from each side, and one from the back. Make sure you've got good lighting, and you know, try and take them somewhere where you know you can repeat and take them again in the future, okay? So, if this is kind of our living room, alright, we don't live together, alright, we sell lounge, you might go against the wall, alright? Stand pretty much against the wall, alright? I would kind of pick a point, on the floor, alright, maybe it's perpendicular to the settee or whatever, to take the photo. So I know that next time, in 6 weeks' time, when I go and take the photos again, he's in the same place, and I'm in the same place, okay? If you kind of go further forward, you're not going to notice those changes, okay? If you go miles back, he's going to look tiny, alright? Winner, he's won the 6-week challenge, alright? It is 6 weeks to make the biggest transformation, okay? Whether it be fat loss, whether it be muscle gain, okay? Not everybody wants to lose weight. I know for probably 70-80% of the people, that's kind of why you come to the gym, okay? But it's not for everyone, okay? So if your goal is to kind of put on muscle, okay, you can still win, all right? Final photos to be submitted again on the 3rd of the 6th. So as we just demonstrated, like that, okay? One from the front, one from each side, one from the back. All right. Winners will not only be picked on the transformation photos, but also the commitment to the challenge, team spirit, acceptance of the nutrition and training principles we've talked about today. Okay. So don't think you're going to kind of win just by kind of, you know, really kind of cutting in or really bulking up. Okay. We want to see you kind of down. We want to see you kind of encouraging others to do well. Okay. We want to see you active on social media. Okay. And we can only see, obviously, what you let us see. Okay. So you know, tag us and stuff. You know, tweet us, Facebook us, Instagram us. Okay. In those kind of meals you're creating. You know, be adventurous. You know, and again, we're not going to pick someone, you know, who's just kind of tweeting pictures of a salad every day. All right. That's not what the flexible diet is about. You know, like we said, you can go for that 80-20 balance. You know, get some fun stuff in there. Allow yourself to enjoy social life on the side. Okay? It's pointless kind of going for it, and we're not going to kind of pick a winner who's, you know, just cut themselves off from the world for 6 weeks. That's not what tonight's been about. It's been about trying to tell you that you can enjoy life, you can enjoy the foods you like, you know, you can train hard and you can still get awesome results. Okay? All us instructors here, you know, we like to have fun on a weekend. You know, we don't sit and just eat salad and just kind of wait for a Monday. You know, we'll go out, we'll have a drink, we'll socialise with each other. You know, we go out for food with our friends, with our family. Yes. I don't know if we've got it on another slide, but your photos, okay? Guys, you know, shorts, swim shorts, something like that. Obviously, the more of you we can see, the easier it is to judge, okay? Ladies, you know, appropriate underwear or a bikini, okay? No kind of weird stuff from Ransoms or whatever, all right? Appropriate stuff only, all right?
Guys, we don't share any pictures without your permission. They literally just come to us, okay? So we don't just go, right, yeah, there we go, and there's Sandra.
Next slide, please, Sandra.
Yeah.
So yeah, literally, there's only, I think me and you have got access to that email.
Yeah, only Stephen and I have access to them emails, not even Liam or Ash has access. We'll sort that out.
So yeah, it will be judged by myself and Ian, okay? So tomorrow, those photos need to be in, okay? Look out for fun weekly challenges, okay? What we're going to do on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, we're just on YouTube recently, we're going to put some little weekly challenges, okay? Get involved with those. They're going to be fun, okay? They're going to be short. You'll get involved in them, okay? Come down in a little group. I think one of them is, I can't remember what they are. I have wrote all 6, okay? They're that good, they're not coming to my head right now. But come down in little groups, get involved, do them. It'll take you 5-10 minutes, some of them, okay? Get involved, get active on social media, and let us know how you got on with them, okay? They're designed to challenge you and push you, give you something to aim for, alright? If you want to enter, make sure you tick the box on your sheet, okay? And put your email address down, alright? We will send you this information, everything we've talked about tonight, okay? So check on that back sheet, that's your order sheet, okay? The stuff at the top is the free stuff, so take that if you want to enter the competition. The prizes.
Alright guys, prizes. This is what everybody wants to know. You're doing a challenge, so there's got to be a prize at the end, okay? I've designed this, so it's really good. And the colours, if you notice. Okay, bronze, okay, 3rd place. You get a month free, okay? You get a t-shirt, you get some vitamin D3 donated by Liam at Natural Nutrients, and you get a protein shaker, okay? 2nd place, 2 months free, okay, to all the classes in gym, okay, whether you're a current member or not. A t-shirt, some magnesium, some vitamin D3, and a protein shake again from Liam. 1st place, 3 months free, okay? So a t-shirt, a kilo of whey, of whatever flavour you want, some magnesium, some omega-3 fish oils, some vitamin D3, and a protein shaker, okay? So it's worth quite a lot of that one, especially, okay? Tonight we do have some special offers on, okay? We will, because it's obviously overrun, we'll let the other people take advantage of them as well, okay? So we've got offers available tonight. Fill in the order form. You've had some little tries with the supplements. If you haven't, have a little go of the whey. We've got some t-shirts, some little novelty t-shirts, okay? We've got a Reps for Jesus one. That is Jesus in the middle. I train like a girl, try and keep up with a lady doing an overhead squat. And this is the back of the t-shirts. You can also order the t-shirts we have and the hoodies in the same design. Okay? There's 6-week specials available on personal training and classes. Okay? And there is Natural Nutrients discounts. Okay? So if you do want whey or them 4 essential supplements that Liam mentioned, go ahead and get them. Okay? We're also going to put a class on a Friday night. Spring into summer class. It's going to be at 6 o'clock. Alright? That will be 45 minutes with a 10-15 minute Q&A at the end. So if you do want to come down, do a session and ask the coach something about macronutrients or food quality, things like that, you can just ask. Okay? Take home points, guys. Do's, okay? Be flexible, be patient, be consistent. That's a big one for me, consistency. Chase health, build muscle, train smart. So like Stephen mentioned, none of this low intensity, boring dance stuff. Get yourself working hard. Have goals like Ash mentioned and have a plan and enjoy life. Okay? Don't do anything extreme and silly. Ban any food groups. Stress. Chase fat loss and use the scales as your only form of measurement. Okay? Final few words. Okay? Summer's less than 9 weeks ago, so this hopefully will be a nice little kind of catalyst to get you going there, guys. Okay? 6 weeks holidays starts in 13 weeks time, so I'm sure there's going to be some holidays booked. Everyone completing the challenge, okay, or entering the challenge, okay, is already a winner. We're already chasing that health, guys, so whether you come 1st, 2nd or 3rd, you're making a good step in terms of nutrition and health, okay? It's all about having fun. Interact with us, message us, ask us questions. That's what we're there for. We understand this might be new and different, but it's the only way you're going to learn, guys, okay? So don't worry about failing. Failing is the best thing in the world, okay? I've failed at a shed load of things, okay? And that's why I'm here today, okay? Right, we're going to finish up. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Anybody? Just stick a hand up. Well, I know we're all tired. Yes?
When you're working out your training hours per week, do you
Yeah.
include like walk to work and stuff
No.
like that?
We call that daily kind of expenditure. So like walking the dog and things like that. It's physical activity. And if you think about it really, you know, 50 years ago, that wasn't even thought of as a thing. Okay, so walking to work, yeah, I would say get yourself out the house for the health benefits, you know. Psychologically, it can de-stress you. Also, you're going to get your vitamin D from the sun. Okay, so by all means, go out for walks, and it is going to burn extra calories, but don't factor that into your calculations. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, guys, thank you very much. I know it's been a long night. If you do want anything from the stall, even more food, order anything, any questions you got personally, just ask away. Again, guys, thank you for your time, and we shall hopefully see you over next. Thank you.